Okay, we have talked about meaningful learning the meaningful learning set already in Chapter 6 on some of the videos, but I wanted to include in the conceptual understanding. Now remember that the meaningful learning set is an attitude that one can make sense of the information one is studying. An example of a meaningful learning set would be a student who has a meaningful learning set might be Johnny, who's figuring out the logic underlying double-digit multiplications. He is going deeper than memorizing an answer or a formula, but he's actually being able to apply those steps in a logical way to come up with an answer. Also, under the same category, we have to include conceptual understanding, because it is when students learn ideas related to a topic in a meaningful and integrated fashion. When they do that, they then can turn around and use it for future assignments. Well, when assignments and assessments require memory of isolated facts and perhaps even require word-for-word recall, students are apt to engage in rote rather than meaningful learning. We've already talked about that in a lecture on here as well. If you've not gotten to it, it's coming to explain this. They go to a rote learning fashion because it seems easier, and it'll yield them better grades if they can just memorize the answers. Well, but then later on, they are not able to apply that. That's when it catches up with them. It's kind of like if you should have a comp class, and perhaps you know how you are. There's certain teachers you take that maybe not require so much, where you think, I got out of this easy. Well, then it comes back to get you another class. Perhaps you feel like that after these first essays came due this past time. Well, as teachers, we should communicate that school topics are to be understood rather than just memorized. Ideally, students should gain a conceptual understanding of classroom topics. That is, they should form many logical connections among related concepts and principles, because as teachers, you're going to be bringing all of this together, correlating all the classes together, integrating them all together. Your science book may be maybe your reading book in the class because of time and overlapping different subject matter. Strategies for promoting conceptual understanding: make sure that you organize units around a few core ideas or issues, always relating specific content back to this core. So give them one basic. Are you talking about nouns? That would be the core, and then circle all your ideas and issues around that. Explore each topic in depth, and this is kind of why I like the Common Core standards better. There's fewer of them, and they're deeper, which requires students to have a deeper, meaningful learning set with it, or it should. Regularly connect new ideas to students' personal experiences and to things students have previously learned at school. Lots of stories, lots of chants, lots of memories brought up. Show students that conceptual understanding is far more important than knowledge of specific facts. Because they'll use this later on. Say, in middle school you'll be expected to know this. In high school you'll be expected to know this. In college you'll be expected to know this. Ask students to teach what they've learned to others. The minute that you start that discovery learning, and they're actually using their own language, own words to tell somebody else, that's when it's really good. There's a lot of different things here on the surrounding cards that's about the meaningful learning and conceptual understanding and creating conceptual changes, talking about misconceptions, and all of that is important. Feel free to read it, read your book. Will you be tested on it? No, I can't test you on everything, but it's good information to know. There's also a Fixing Misconceptions YouTube video down there. Enjoy.